tonight, our very first look inside James Comey's bombshell book. The former FBI director certainly telling all about his relationship with President Trump. James Comey's firing set in motion the appointment of a special counsel whose Russia investigation has hung like a dark cloud over President Trump's 15 months in office.
Well, this book will do nothing to lift that cloud. If anything, it's bound to kick up even more of a storm at the White House. In his book, A Higher Loyalty, the former FBI director says President Trump is untethered to the truth, that his leadership style is ego-driven and about personal loyalty. Comey says tension between the men started right after the election, when the new president-elect was informed about Russia's meddling. Comey writes about the Trump team, they were about to lead a country that had been attacked by a foreign adversary, yet they had no questions about what the future Russian threat might be. Instead, Comey writes, their concern was how they could spin what we had just told them to the public. Comey says the president-elect had only one question. You found there was no impact on the result, right? Mr. Trump was told, in fact, that the intelligence community could not guarantee that. Comey says he then briefed Mr. Trump on the now infamous Russian dossier with tales of prostitutes in a Moscow hotel room. Trump strongly denied the allegations, asking rhetorically, I assumed, whether he seemed like a guy who needed the service of prostitutes. Here's President-elect Trump answering a reporter's question about the wildest dossier claim that he had asked the prostitutes to urinate on each other for his own pleasure.
Does anyone really believe that story? I'm also very much of a germaphobe, by the way.
Comey writes Mr. Trump was fixated on the dossier, claiming it upset his wife Melania. After he was fired, Comey says he got a call from Chief of Staff John Kelly, then running Homeland Security. He said he was sick about my firing and that he intended to quit in protest. I urged Kelly not to do that, arguing that the country needed principled people around this president, especially this president. On the question of whether President Trump had engaged in obstruction of justice, which is part of the special counsel investigation, Comey writes, I have one perspective on the behavior I saw, which, while disturbing and violating basic norms of ethical leadership, may fall short of being illegal. The Republican National Committee has set up a brand new website called Lion Comey, aimed at discrediting the former FBI director, who is about to go on a publicity tour promoting his new book. And that book tour takes him to The Late Show with Stephen Colbert next week. James Comey sits down with Stephen Tuesday at 11:35, right after this newscast.